Now, there's a question I've been asking myself for a very long time, and that question is, where exactly would The Weeknd be today if he signed to Drake as an upcoming artist? To some people, this is gonna sound like something that's very far-fetched. I mean, in what world would The Weeknd sign to Drake? But if you know the history behind their relationship, this question coming up isn't something that comes as a surprise to you. I do have a couple things to say about this topic though, so yeah. Let's talk about it. Now, let's go back in time almost a decade ago when The Weeknd was a very much unknown artist. On the 12th of December 2010, Drake co-signed him by having 40, his in-house producer and longtime friend, post 2 of The Weeknd's songs on the OVO blog. A couple months later, on March 5th, 2011, Wicked Games by The Weeknd dropped, and Drake quoted the song lyrics on his Twitter, so this was the second time he had publicly co-signed him. In August of 2011, their first collaboration dropped, which was The Zone. This of course put a different kind of spark on The Weeknd's career. Drake was already huge back then, right? Now let's fast forward to later that year when Take Care dropped. Without The Weeknd, we would have most likely not gotten that classic. In a 2013 interview, The Weeknd revealed that he gave up almost half of his album to Drake for Take Care. I was hungry. I was like, dude, take anything. I gave up almost half of my album. It's hard. I will always be thankful. If it wasn't for the light he shined on me, who knows where I'd be, and everything happens for a reason. The other part about this claim is the fact that Drake denied this. He responded to a fan on Instagram who said that The Weeknd wrote most of it by saying he only co-wrote 3 records plus Crew Love, which he was featured on. Obviously, this is a he said, she said kind of situation, one man's word against another one's, but my take on this, I personally doubt that The Weeknd would come out and lie by making a statement like that so early in his career. I say he didn't have an incentive to make that up, while Drake of course has his legacy he wants to protect. Whoever you want to believe, that's up to you. One thing I want to add here really quickly is the fact that The Weeknd was most likely talking about his House of Balloons project when he said this. That mixtape has 10 tracks, half of that album is 5 songs. He said that he gave up almost half of his album to Drake, which means 4 songs. Sounds about right. This is if he was referring to House of Balloons. Maybe he was talking about another project we've yet to hear, because he did say album when he talked about giving away his, material, and House of Balloons was a mixtape. That's just something I felt like I had to add in. Now, back in 2012 though, Drake spoke on whether or not he was gonna sign The Weeknd, and this is what he said. As far as on paper, it's all being worked out, but that's not really what counts anyway. What counts to me is the fact that the affiliation is so known, and that's all I really care about. I want to continue being involved in his career and vice versa, and keep making music together, because you take songs like Crew Love and The Zone, and that's what people wait all night to hear. Now, a couple months after Drake said this, in September of 2012, The Weeknd actually ended up signing a contract with Republic Records. Now, as you can see from what Drizzy said though, at that specific point in time, the supposed deal was being worked out, which most likely means he thought that Abel was gonna sign with him. Obviously, The Weeknd had other plans for his career and ended up signing a deal with Republic. Now, I'm asking myself and I'm wondering, what if The Weeknd actually decided to sign with Drake? Would he be as big as he is right now? What if he flourished into the superstar that we know today? I want to use PartyNextDoor as an example. Now, PartyNextDoor signed with OVO Sound back in 2013. He of course has multiple records out with Drake. That affiliation has really helped him get his name out there. On the other hand though, there's a question we need to ask regarding this. Has him getting signed by Drake stalled his career or boosted it? I'm gonna go ahead and say boosted for sure. Getting signed by one of the biggest rappers on the planet, having multiple records out with him, that is a recipe for success, but it doesn't guarantee stardom. Just because you signed with Drake doesn't mean that you're gonna be a superstar, and that's exactly what happened to PartyNextDoor. This is an artist who has the music, he has the pen game, but yet Party never properly took off. He never got the chance to get that The Weeknd kind of success. Obviously, we're talking about 2 different artists, but I want you to realize that The Weeknd was kind of in Party's position when he was that upcoming artist who got the chance to work with Drake, who gave away some of his material just so Drake could have it, and this is something PartyNextDoor actually has spoken about. In an interview with Rolling Stone from 2016, he told a story about how Drake asked for one of his songs songs, Wednesday Night Interlude, and he gave it away, but in hindsight ended up regretting that decision. In 2015, Drake used P&D's Wednesday Night Interlude as the downbeat counterpoint to the combative narratives that dominated his If You're Reading This Is Too Late mixtape. I was involved with that tape. Drake asked for that song, P&D remembers. I said, are you gonna cut it? No, he just put it on there. I don't think people do that. I love the fact that he put it on there and people heard it, and I still till this day wish I kept that song for my album. I don't sense any kind of animosity from what he said at all. I think he just realized in hindsight how important that song was to him. He wanted Wednesday Night Interlude to be a part of his catalog, not Drake's. This does make me wonder though, is there other records he's given away to Drake? I can't say for sure, but I can say it is a big possibility. P&D describes himself as Drake's little gunner. Whatever comes to mind when I say that, that's exactly what it is. Now, would the Weeknd signing to Drake mean that he'd end up as one of those little gunners as well? The possibility is there. He already co-wrote multiple tracks from Take Care. Abel was from the start kind of getting molded as, you know, that sidekick, right? I doubt him signing to Drake would mean they'd be dominating together. There can only be one face on the cover, figuratively speaking, and let's keep in mind that OVO sound hasn't really progressed all that much. So would the Weeknd being in the OVO collective mean that he would have also not really progressed all that much? You would think that that wouldn't be a possibility since Drake is at the forefront, but that's also the curse of being behind Drake. Nothing you do is gonna measure up to whatever he does, and I think that's something the Weeknd probably realized. I think he'd be shooting himself in the foot by signing to Drake and not going his own way. How can we be sure that the Weeknd wouldn't be co-writing for the rest of his career if he ended up signing with Drizzy? I genuinely don't think he'd be the superstar he is today if he ended up signing with Drake. The danger for Abel would be whether or not he'd get the inspiration sucked out of him and not been able to focus on his career because he's given away his best work to the man that signed him. I think he definitely dodged a bullet. He took what was a risk at the moment by believing in his own vision, and that right there led to him becoming one of the most successful artists of this generation. When you think about it, it's kind of crazy how that one decision alone could have, completely changed where his career actually went. But yeah, if the Weeknd signed to Drake, what do you think about this topic? What exactly do you think would have happened if he ended up signing with Drake? Do you think he would have been as successful as he is today or not? Definitely let me know in the comment section below and let's have a discussion about this.